Peace, 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 and love, family. I am the Divine Messenger, and welcome to Divine Messenger TV. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Go ahead because you're not going to want to miss this divine message. So, I was meditating on, the collective energy today, and the divine message of the day is going to surround. I just had it. Was it facing fear? I believe it's facing fear. I feel like you don't necessarily have fear. You create it. Oh, that's what it was. Okay, so that's what I was thinking about. It wasn't that one. It was you create problems. You don't have problems, you create problems. That's what it is. I'm so sorry, y'all. I was so excited about getting the message out, I forgot the dang on message. But the real message is you don't have problems, you create them. Okay? And what I mean by that is a lot of times we are so full. We hold on to the pain of memory, right? The information. Memory is just information, right? It's things from the past, it's information. All of it is information. And unfortunately or fortunately, information has to be updated. So if you're still constantly holding on to old information, even if it's a day old, right, you're going to create a problem because that information needs to be updated. It needs to be, it needs to be updated, right? So you need to be self-aware of what it is or what information you're holding on, you're keeping in file, right? You're keeping in mind. Because that's the only way you have problems. You have to literally go back to zero, right? Zero. You have to be at zero. Okay, that's a divine number. That's the beginning, right? Zero. You have to be at zero. And to be at zero is to release, just to begin again. There is no end. And I've learned that about life. We're all seeking an outcome, man. We're all seeking an outcome. And that's where most of our stress comes from. We want to know the outcome of how the relationship's gonna go. We want to know the outcome, will we still be working this job? We want to know the outcome of will we be rich in 2027? Like, you just have to be. You just have to be. It was a little bit challenging to get this message out because I don't think it was really supposed to come out, but it is supposed to come out. That's why I got the message. So you have to, and then plus I'm working on my communication as well. So I've been challenged in that area, on how to deliver my message. But, I got to start somewhere. I might look back on this video, and be like, dang, you know what I mean? But this is all a process. That's why I don't worry about it. You know what I mean? People might be laughing at this video when I put it out. Who cares? As long as I did the work, right? I'm not focused on the outcome. I'm focused on getting the message out because that is my purpose. My purpose is to be a messenger, is to give you the insight, give you the divine messages, right? Because at the end of the day, I see myself in everything and all things, right? And I want to, help evolve those other parts of the all, you know what I mean? Of the one, right? So I empty myself every day of anything that I'm feeling, whether it's anger, whether it's the past, like whether it's memories that keep coming up. And I practice also the Honopono, I think it's the Ponopono or something like that. It's a prayer. And it goes, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and I love you. And I say that, to renew my mind, you know what I mean? And it works miracles, guys. It works miracles. It's a powerful chant or prayer that you can use to reset. And I listen to it every day, right? Every day. If I'm dealing with people, I listen to it after I'm dealing with people. If I'm, out and about, whatever the case may be, because, life happens and things happen in life, right? So I just begin to, chant that prayer and release those things. So I feel like if we can grab the concept of not, expecting death, right? Expecting an ending. You know what I mean? Because every time it ends, it begins again. There is literally no such thing as an end. It's an illusion. Everything begins again. And I feel like we're under this illusion, in this whole system or whatever, that, things come to an end, and that's just it. But yeah, of course, material things are not permanent, right? And life is forever changing and it flows, but at the same time we flow with life. You know what I mean? So if we keep that in mind, our life will become a little bit more easier day by day. You know what I mean? Because we're not, attached to one outcome. You know what I mean? Attached to a certain thing that happened in our lives, when it can go either way. And it's still okay, because, we are not the mind, we are not the body. We have a body, but we're just here to experience, and we're just here to keep on evolving and moving forward. So when you hold that, frame of mind, then you're able to, tackle those obstacles and deal with those problems head on, instead of pushing them down and suppressing them, and, holding on to the grief and holding on to the pain. You actually begin to heal yourself when you release the data. Just like the phone's got to be backed up, you have to get rid of that old stuff, man. And sometimes they say, okay, you can buy storage, but at the end of the day, you're buying storage to fill yourself back, fill your phone back up with more things. But really, you need to release the old things. You wouldn't have to spend your money to buy more storage if you would just release the old things, is what I'm saying. So we just need to be mindful of the information that we're holding on to, right? I mean, it's a lot of information out here, but your brain only has the capacity, or your subconscious mind only has the capacity to receive only 15% of a billion, you know what I'm saying, data. So you can't receive all that information. It's almost impossible. It only collects a little bit of information, which is the 15%, and and the rest is gone. You know what I mean? So even the information that I learn or I study, I still release it, right? Whatever my subconscious mind wants to gravitate towards, that I need to know, because it knows me, because it is me. I'm the soul. We are the soul. We are consciousness. And it's only going to take things, that is going to, push us forward, right? And that may not look like all love and light. You know what I mean? It could be chaotic. It could be different. You know what I'm saying? It just depends on, your position in the planet, on this earth. You know what I mean? So I just take life, for what it is. You know what I mean? I let it go. I let it grow. I let it thrive. You know what I mean? And it was very hard to come to this realization that, there is no, destination. Even if I get to a certain place where I accomplish things, I say thank you. I love you. I say thank you. That's a part of the prayer. Like I said, I say thank you. I love you. And then I keep going on to the next thing, until I'm done with my mission on this earth, which is, what we will call death. But I mean, it's truly not death, it's life. Because guess what? I lived. So now I get to live another life. I get to live on and on and on and on and on. So we just have to be, you know what I mean? We have to be what we want to be all that we can be, right? Like when you free up some of that energy, you're you become very motivated, you become very inspirational. You can put that energy into all the good that you desire. Your money starts to get better. You can free yourself, free your mind, help free other parts of yourself, which is, the collective is not really truly anybody else but you in this world. You know what I mean? You know, we're all connected, even though things look a little different. So I just want you to keep that in mind. You don't have problems. You literally create them, right? You create them by holding on to the data. So release the data, okay? Update the data, all right? Release it, let it go so you can free yourself. Free that information so that you can receive more information, okay? That's going to help you, right? We have to release, we have to receive, and then we have to release. We have to receive, we have to release. That's just how it is, okay? You know, it's just what it is. And when we come to that realization, then things begin to flow and you begin to grow. And it doesn't mean that, you know, there are not going to be any painful events in your life. But when you clear your energy and you release the data and you go back to zero, right? Everything can begin again and you can keep moving onward and forward, okay? All right, this was the divine message of the day, guys. I love you so much. Peace.